Ohayo gozaimasu. Oh, I was trying to get this before. It's always funny because I'm like, you could just, be ready before you push the button. But like, I feel like people really need to understand that it's okay to not be perfect at things because we are. And that's perfectly fine. Because it is. Duh. I know I'm not getting a phone call at this time. Who is this? Yeah, that's yeah, we're not gonna answer that one. I can't do nothing about nothing, so therefore, like, why answer the phone? Praise the Lord. There's nothing I can do about it, and that's okay. Alright. We didn't read the Bible yesterday. Yesterday was a day where we just needed to live our lives and do something different. But that being said, today we are reading two portions of it. So yeah, I'm not too enthused about that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like to do these things like when it's time for us to do them, because as I've mentioned before, I don't actually like reading the Bible, but I do. It's more of like I like it because I like it. It feels nice. It's great, all that. But then, I don't like reading it all the time. It's like, I don't know how to explain that right now. I'm not really in the mood to explain that right now. But we have to move fast. Alright. In the 27th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, began Azariah, son of Amaziah, king of Judah, to reign. 16 years old when he began. And today my reading is just all off. Like I said, my whole existence is just kind of just being like, alright, let's just be tired today. In the 27th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, began Azariah, son of Amaziah, king of Judah, to reign. 16 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Jecoliah of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father Amaziah had done, save that the high places were not removed. The people sacrificed and burnt incense still on the high places. And the Lord smote the king so that he was a leper unto the day of his death, and dwelt in a several house. And Jotham the king's son was over the house, judging the people of the land. And the rest of the acts of Azariah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Azariah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David. And Jotham his son reigned in his stead. In the 38th year of Azariah king of Judah did Zechariah the son of Jeroboam reign over Israel in Samaria 6 months. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, as his fathers had done. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. I feel like I really need to say it right now. I don't care about the Bible. I truly don't. I do and I don't. Like, it is what it is. And then when I do read it, it depends on how I'm feeling that day. Like, how good it feels to read it. Like, I notice when it does feel like home to read it, but I also notice when I don't feel like reading any of it because I don't care. But the word of the Lord himself, like, because we talk to him, is different. Like, I never get tired of God himself. I get tired of the book, the Bible. It's the same. It's going to always be the same words, but God himself, he will, say things that are different because he's living. He's alive. He has different things to say. But the book is the book. And even though you can always get something from the book, I don't always want to feel like having to read it all the time. Like, if it could just, suck in my mind, I'd be perfectly fine with that. But I also don't like hearing it, like listening to it without reading it. It's not the same feeling. So I like to get the information and the feeling from it, I don't always like reading it. Excuse me. Yeah, it felt nice to say that. It felt real. And Shallum the son of Jabesh conspired against him and smote him before the people and slew him and reigned in his stead. And the rest of the acts of Zechariah, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. This was the word of the Lord which he spake unto Jehu, saying, Thy sons shall sit on the throne of Israel unto the fourth generation. And so it came to pass. Shallum the son of Jabesh began to reign in the 39th year of Uzziah king of Judah, and he reigned a full month in Samaria. For Menahem the son of Gadi went up from Tirzah and came to Samaria, and smote Shallum the son of Jabesh in Samaria, and slew him and reigned in his stead. And the acts of Shallum and his conspiracy which he made, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. Then Menahem smote Tiphsah and all that were therein, and the coasts thereof from Tirzah, because they opened not to him. Therefore he smote it, and all the women therein that were with child he ripped up. In the 39th year of Azariah king of Judah began Menahem the son of Gadi to reign over Israel, and reigned 10 years in Samaria. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not all his days from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. And Pul the king of Assyria came against the land, and Menahem gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver, that his hand might be with him to confirm the kingdom in his hand. And Menahem exacted the money of Israel, even of all the mighty men of wealth, of each man 50 shekels of silver, to give to the king of Assyria. So the king of Assyria turned back and stayed not there in the land. And the rest of the acts of Menahem and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Menahem slept with his fathers, and Pekahiah his son reigned in his stead. In the 50th year of Azariah king of Judah, Pekahiah the son of Menahem began to reign over Israel and Samaria, and reigned 2 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. But Pekah the son of Remaliah, a captain of his, conspired against him, and smote him in Samaria, in the palace of the king's house, with Argob and Arieh, and with him 50 men of the Gileadites, and he killed him and reigned in his room. And the rest of the acts of Pekahiah and all that he did, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. In the 52nd year of Azariah king of Judah, Pekah the son of Remaliah began to reign over Israel and Samaria, and reigned 20 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. In the days of Pekah king of Israel came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ijon and Abel Beth-Maachah, and Janoah, and Kadesh, and Hazar, and Gilead, and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali, and carried them captive to Assyria. And Hoshea, the son of Elah, made a conspiracy against Pekah, the son of Remaliah, and smote him and slew him, and reigned in his stead, in the 20th year of Jotham, the son of Uzziah. And the rest of the acts of Pekah and all that he did, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. In the 2nd year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, began Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, to reign. 25 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord. He did according to all that his father Uzziah had done. Howbeit the high places were not removed, the people sacrificed and burned incense still in the high places. He built the higher gate of the house of the Lord. Now the rest of the acts of Jotham and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? In those days the Lord began to send against Judah Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah the son of Remaliah. And Jotham slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father, and Ahaz his son reigned in his stead. Praise the Lord. I really don't care. I get it. I just don't care. I really feel that way. Like, let's just be real about a lot of things. So, man, I really do have to hurry up though. I'm gonna be quick about it. Praise the Lord. This is the reason why you don't worship Jesus, you worship our Father, right? Let's be real about it. There are a lot of things that God did, that God still does, that we don't care about, because in reality, we like learning lessons. We appreciate it, to be honest with you. At some point, to make a point, I really feel like at some point he should have just not killed everybody. I don't feel that way. But one, I probably would have did something different. I'm not gonna lie. But like there's so many generations of terrible rulers, and then like every once in a blue moon you get a good one that follows the Lord, and then they die. It's done. And nobody learns the lesson. In my opinion, and my very valuable and praised opinion, I just feel like it really shouldn't have been so hard for people to understand that we should really be on the Lord's side, and that's it. But at the same time, it just doesn't make sense that the wicked still get the power. And that is how I feel about it. Like, it would be more obvious if they didn't get put in power. But yet, like, the person, I read 10, I read the 10th chapter of this one, because we skipped that one when we were reading in general. I don't know why, but we read it by ourselves, and we were really just feeling like this person went through all the trouble to kill all the people that worship Baal, but also made sure to not kill the people of the Lord. And then after that, the Lord said, I will bless you. And he chose openly to not do what the Lord told him to do afterwards. Like, why did you do all that for? What was your point? What was, like the stupidity of it all? It just didn't, it doesn't make sense to me. And like the whole point of what's happening right now is because people are not understanding that you cannot fix the world with anything but God. Like, that's why the vaccines are not working the way that people thought they would. That's why the president is, shutting down on robot mode when he's trying to speak about something, when he is supposed to give God the glory. That's neither here nor there. We made a video on that. But like, people are expecting Egypt, because in the book it's just because you depend on Egypt and not on me, because people are trying to fix things with science instead of saying that God is the one that made science to begin with. And like, I just don't understand why people keep wanting to put themselves in situations where it's like, you are not being smart right now, and God is humoring them, and that irritates me, because I wouldn't do it. I would just handle it, done. But that is why he's my father and I am not him, because there's obvious reasons why he's doing certain things, and I'm like, I get it, but I don't also understand why, go through all of that trouble when all you want is for people to remember and know who you are. Merciful, sure. Going the long way around, I don't know if that's merciful for me. I don't feel that way. But I do definitely appreciate lessons in our everyday life. As the purist, we really do like lessons. We like learning new things. We learn more by not doing things, though. That's definitely how we learn how to do things. I don't feel like other people are poor in a sense as opposed to who we are. I just feel like he has the ability to make more understanding happen. So why not just make it so instead of letting people just do whatever they want? Free will, sure, but he built us and he gave us the mind to do so. Our spirits are already his and he knows that. And we know that, which is why people choose to make sure that they run away from him. It's either you are or you're not. And it doesn't matter like what you think it is you are or you're not. So it's just really a confusing situation for me because I'm like, why humor people that are idiots when you could just help them be better? And on top of that, like when they openly say, I'm not going to do anything with you, why give them power? It doesn't even speak about how maybe this person wasn't even happy. It doesn't speak about how this person was in a dark place. You can kind of just understand that, but genuinely, like, you just don't see emotionally. They don't speak emotionally about how things work a lot. Like, people like to say they do, and they do, but like in these chapters in general, it would have been really important to have that being said. And I think that's why I really don't like the Bible, is because it doesn't speak about these things. And if it speaks about it, they definitely cut it out in translation. There's a lot of feminine energy in these books that people don't put into play. It's very important to note how emotionally things were working. Literally, somebody's concubine got raped and killed and left on someone's doorstep, and someone literally had to be like, get up, let's go and carry on our day. And he's the one that sent that person out. Emotionally, what was that all about? How did you feel about that? Did you feel ashamed? Because it doesn't sound like he did. And on top of that, the concubine herself was such an unimportant character to the point where you didn't even know how she felt about the situation. There would be more from that whole story if there was more said about it. If that makes any sense to the people that really make sense about that stuff. Like, that's important. That's what's missing in the world right now. Emotionally, how do you feel? Do you feel like an idiot? Like, that's really how, you know, we're moving on because we ain't got time for this. But I have so much to say about it. We really ain't got time for that. Oh, we're already here. Okay. In the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord his God, like David his father. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, yea, and made his son to pass through the fire according to the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel. And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places and on the hills, and under every green tree. Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war, and they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him. At that time Rezin, king of Syria, recovered Elath to Syria, and drave the Jews from Elath, and the Syrians came to Elath and dwelt there unto this day. So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, saying, I am thy servant and thy son. Come up and save me out of the hand of the king of Syria, and out of the hand of the king of Israel, which rise up against me. And Ahaz took the silver and gold that was found in the house of the Lord, and in the treasures of the king's house, and sent it for a present to the king of Assyria. And the king of Assyria hearkened unto him, for the king of Assyria went up against Damascus and took it, and carried the people of it captive to Kir, and slew Rezin. And Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tilgath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and saw an altar that was at Damascus. And King Ahaz sent to Urijah the priest the fashion of the altar and the pattern of it, according to all the workmanship thereof. And Urijah the priest built an altar according to all that King Ahaz had sent from Damascus. So Urijah the priest made it against King Ahaz came from Damascus. And when the king was come from Damascus, the king saw the altar, and the king approached to the altar and offered thereon. And he burnt his offering, and he burnt his burnt offering and his meat offering, and poured his drink offering, and sprinkled the blood of his peace offerings upon the altar. And he brought also the brazen altar which was before the Lord from the forefront of the house, from between the altar and the house of the Lord, and put it on the north side of the altar. And King Ahaz commanded Urijah the priest, saying, Upon the great altar burn the morning burnt offering, and the evening meat offering, and the king's burnt sacrifice, and his meat offering, with the burnt offering of all the people of the land, and their meat offering, and their drink offerings, and sprinkle upon it all the blood of the burnt offering, and all the blood of the sacrifice, and the brazen altar shall be for me to inquire by. Thus did Urijah the priest, according to all that King Ahaz commanded. And King Ahaz cut off the borders of the bases, and removed the laver from off them, and took down the sea from off the brazen oxen that were under it, and put it upon a pavement of stones. And the covert for the Sabbath that they had built in the house, and the king's entry without, turned he from the house of the Lord for the king of Assyria. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaz which he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And Ahaz slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Hezekiah his son reigned in his stead. Covert. Oh, all right. Interesting. Sometimes I get the feeling off of words. I think that's a really interesting part about it.
To put my money into things that move the culture forward, mostly any type of business.
I'm so happy for you. God is the reason why I remain strong today. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea the son of Elah to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land, and went up to Samaria, and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria, and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Hala, and in Habor, by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill, and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. For they served idols, whereof the Lord had said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like the neck of their fathers that did not believe in the Lord their God. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them, that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination, the enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seeds of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king, and Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, they departed not from them. I love street sweepers, I think they're so cute. Until the Lord removed Israel out of the sight, as he had said by all his servants and prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. I feel like they could have more pressure though. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria, and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there, that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, The nations which thou hast removed, and placed in the cities of Samaria, know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, Carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of the God of the land. Then one of the priests, whom they had carried away from Samaria, came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Lord. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Succoth-Benoth, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nibhaz and Tartak, and the Sepharvites burnt their children in fire to Adramelech and Anamelech, the gods of Sepharvaim. So they feared the Lord, and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. They feared the Lord, and served their own gods, after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence. They feared the Lord, but served their own gods. That's why he made it make sense now. Unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not the Lord, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law and commandment which the Lord commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel, with whom the Lord had made a covenant, and charged them, saying, Ye shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. But the Lord, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and a stretched out arm, him shall ye fear, and him shall ye worship, and to him shall ye do sacrifice. And the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandment which he wrote for you, ye shall observe to do forevermore, and ye shall not fear other gods. And the covenant that I have made with you ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other gods. But the Lord your God ye shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. Howbeit they did not hearken, but they did after their former manner. So these nations feared the Lord, and served their graven images, both their children and their children's children, As did their fathers, so do they unto this day. Also, the other thing about it, what was I going to say? I have to think about it. Oh, yeah. People literally saw people get their heads chopped off, killed, and I mean, you would one think that's the same thing, but like, so many miracles, so many things that kept happening in that lifetime. And yet, the people, the very people that would watch it all happen, they specifically were like, well, we're going to worship our molten images. Like, it just, I said it before, and I'll probably say it very often. The people in the Bible were stupid. They were just a whole lot less intelligent than they should have been. Maybe not all of them. For sure, we've all had to upgrade in general, but this was the beginning for a reason. I've already spoken a lot on religions and things of that nature, so I'm gonna just let it go at that because we don't have enough space on here to be putting everything on here, and we still have 3 other passages to read, so we'll do that in a different video along with prayer. So thank you for being here, but just remember I said that. I thought I pushed a button, but I didn't.